Hello everybody! Welcome back to the channel. I'm Shiloh Zidler, and for the record, I had this video planned before Willie Mac's whole thing came out. So, originally, I was gonna, take a little bit more time with this, but now that, the previous mentioned video, is out, a lot of people are talking about this, and I kind of want to say what I want to say before a bunch of other people say it before I could. So, also for the record, a few months ago in my video about Sloan mentioned the whole thing with the psychic reading, so I think I should get credit for that one. Thank you. Okay. So it feels like we're getting ahead of ourselves a little here, so I should probably begin by introducing the subject of this video, which is going to be Eugenia Cooney, who is a YouTuber and Twitch streamer. Eugenia's content revolves around makeup, beauty, cosplay, and kind of like a kawaii theme. Also a lot of Jack Skellingtons, but that's probably because it's October. But in general, which I get. Of course, that's just on YouTube. On Twitch, she does more or less gaming content, which is a lot of Twitch, and a lot of people seem to fucking hate her. And the reason why people dislike her, the big reasons why people dislike her, the big reason why there is a petition to get her off the internet, is stupid. It's bad. It's faulty logic at best. You're probably thinking to yourself, wow, that's a pretty strong statement to begin this video off with, but it's true. And I will show you that it is true, where I clear up some misconceptions about Eugenia Cooney. I worked in the title somehow. I'm doing great today. I wanted to try to find more things, that's why this was going to take a little longer. Try to gather up the main ones, the big ones. Because, some of these people, I don't know, a lot of it feels like, well, it is all, for the most part, it's conspiracy that we're dealing with here. And the thing about conspiracies, especially a lot of the main examples like Flat Earth and anti-vax stuff, I feel like this video is gonna get so suppressed in the algorithm just because I mentioned that. The thing about those two examples that I bring up is when you show them that there's a fault in their logic and it doesn't make any sense, they just dig their heels in deeper. Big example of this whole Eugenia situation is Pastel Belle, who triple fucking down on all of it, really. Which, I realized that lately she has been the main subject of a lot of people's content. She is a pretty, she's a pretty big channel, over 7K is nothing to sneeze at. But she isn't the only one. One of the other big ones is Repzilla. Now, Repzilla apologized, for everything he said about Eugenia. And that's great. That is kind of what everybody wanted in this situation. But however, he still did spread a lot of misinformation about her, and that's kind of what this video is going to be about. Going over what people said, including Repzilla. Even if he apologized, I'm still going to go over why what he said was wrong. Because despite his apology, there's still a bunch of people who still believe this kind of stuff, and I just need to show people that this is not at all even slightly believable. There's gonna be people that I won't be able to convince, I'm very much aware of that. But hopefully I can change somebody's mind, maybe, I don't know, we'll find out. Okay, so normally, especially when I'm dealing with heavy topics, I would like to start off with something that's kind of banal and, not so, but unfortunately, I don't think there's really any banal stuff when it comes to this sort of thing. The fetish stuff.
Another issue is people think she is sexualizing her eating disorder.
A whole lot more problems. Now, the idea first came to me from Katie. Anita, I probably said that wrong. In a video, Eugenia doesn't want your help, where she goes in depth about and shows specific examples of how she could be doing these types of things because she is getting donations and contributions to push it.
From what I've seen in these clips from her Twitch streams, it seems to me that Eugenia is feeding into ED. And I do not believe Eugenia is too naive to realize that this is what she's doing.
Okay, so you would think with something like as strongly worded as that they would bring something substantial to the table, like, I don't know, some DMs with Eugenia Cooney, working out a deal with somebody about this sort of material, possibly with a video recording of them going to their little DM section, you know how they do receipts things, yeah. But, I haven't seen anything like that at all. What they're saying, the thing that proves that she is catering to a fetish community who fetishizes Anna, which we'll be calling this. By the way, I know I've said this before in the Sloan video, but we know that Eugenia has a ED, but we don't know exactly what it is. She hasn't gone into the weeds about that, which is totally fine. If she doesn't want to, she doesn't have to. Nobody's entitled to any of her medical information, and we shouldn't be acting like we are. But for the sake of argument for this video, because a lot of people are running the assumption that she has a particular type of ED, which is Anna is short for anorexia, if you guys don't know. So we're just gonna be using Anna because I don't want to say the other one too many times before the algorithm notices. For the sake of argument, we're just gonna say she has Anna. But we do not know for certain. We have no confirmation on that. Just to be clear. Okay. Anyway, because I need to get to the point of this. So their evidence. The biggest evidence that I've seen across the board about this is her picking up the stupid makeup pen. Yep, that's it. So I've seen the video, right? I've seen the compilation of her doing the thing where she gets up, she notices that her makeup bin is right where she would back up to show her outfit, and then she would move it out of the view of the camera. And so I'm just gonna play you the video.
Lip gloss I used today? Oh, thank you for the bestie with me.
What is the whole thing about the makeup bin and
So there's just some people that literally think that, like, there's a big conspiracy with my makeup bin. Like, they think that, like, they're like, yeah. Okay, well, for a while, I would move it, like, every day to do my makeup. Because I do my makeup here. A lot of people think this is a bed, but it's actually a couch. So this is where I do my makeup. So I would move it to, like, do my makeup and stuff. And that was kind of before I had this set up, where, like, now I keep a lot of my makeup just, like, on this tray. So people would be like, she's purposely doing that. She did it, because a lot of the time I would, like, forget to move it back in the corner. So people would be like, she purposely is doing that so she can, like, show herself moving the bin or whatever.
That doesn't prove anything. Because if you are claiming these people who are donating are fetishes, prove it. Like, prove these people are fetishes. We don't even have any confirmation that these people who donated, like, have any connection to anything when it comes to this. Like, do they have a different social media that you can trace back to this account that they talk about it? No. Because I haven't seen anything of that. There's nothing to say. This is nothing. This is nothing. Hi, Amy here. So, I just looked at the Eugenia video where she was lifting up the bin, the makeup bin, and the first thing that compilation show was not her moving the makeup bin, but was a light that she moved. There was no donations given, and I believe the second time in that compilation that she moved the bin, there was a donation before and not after, and the last two there was no donations. So if she moves the makeup bin and every time she gets a donation, why were the last two no donation and there was no donation after she moved the makeup bin, even though there was one before, but there was no after? Also, the horse guy brings up her moving the ottoman. She doesn't receive any donations for the ottoman either, so I don't know why we're here. So, this also, not only does this not prove anything, but she doesn't have that makeup bin anymore, now she has a fucking wheelie thing. But if their claims were true, that moving the makeup bin is for money, then why would she get a rolly thing that clearly isn't that hard to move around because it has wheels? That whole thing falls right apart now, so like... Another thing that the weird horse dude mentioned, that when she stands up and she stretches or whatever, I don't know.
From a month ago.
What's wrong with stretching, guys? People wanted me to stretch, I stretched. Yoga with Eugenia. Yes. Oh my gosh, thank you! Hannah!
No. That is also not evidence of anything. Like, you can't sit for long periods of time. That is actually bad for you. She's not wrong that sitting for too long is bad for you. She's there for like 8 hours. You expect her to sit the whole freaking time and not stand up at any point. Like, yeah, she should be getting up and standing and stretching her legs because that's good for her circulation. And if you guys are actually concerned about her health, you would stop getting on her case for getting her blood circulating.
I'm not going to go any deeper into the anorexia fetish aspect of this video, but if you want to see another video that was really well done, that really thoroughly went into it and kind of explained what it was, then I will link a video in the description below done by Of Herbs and Altars, which was absolutely amazing and really covered this very.
Oh boy. So, Herbs of Altars. And the two videos that she brings up, which is... Oh god. Okay, we're just gonna get right into this. So also, real quick, I need to make a slight correction because I mentioned Herbs of Altars in the first Sloan video, and I mistakenly called him a her, and that's not his pronouns. Whoops, that was my bad, I should have checked. Okay, so Belle brings up on her screen two videos by Herbs and Altars, and I don't think she watched either of them all the way through, at least. Well, she might have watched the first one, but she definitely didn't watch the second one. And it's kind of funny, because, like, how everybody frames the first video in question about the fetish forums is that the whole thing was revolving around Eugenia Cooney. Like, that's everything that they were talking about on that forum. But even in Bella's first video, when she mentioned this, she plays a clip from Herbs and Altars' video where they said that they were also on the forums being discussed. So already this is kind of misinterpreted or misrepresented, more or less. Considering in that first video that Herbs made about the fetish forums, Eugenia was clip notes. Like, all of it was filmed, like, with a video camera, and the parts where Herbs mentions Eugenia, that was all added in post, only through audio. And the second one that revolves around the fetish form that Herbs made was her discussing a conversation that she had with somebody who she called Kat in the video to protect her anonymity, who was dating somebody who was also referred to as M in the video, who was a photographer for the fetish forums, and Kat was there to do hair and makeup for the girls.
So the first thing that jumped out to me when I read the detailed description she gave me, including a timetable of everything that went on the shoots, was that I was shocked by the money involved. These girls were taken advantage of in every single way, including financially. These girls were on set for the whole day. They were on set for about 7 hours. According to the timetable, there was a strict timetable set out that Kat supplied me with. They were there for 6 or 7 hours.
M was apparently very, very, very manipulative and ended up making one of the girls cry because she wouldn't do what he wanted her to do, and then managed to somehow manipulate her into undressing in a way that she was initially uncomfortable with, but that's how manipulative this dude was. And unfortunately, shortly after that girl who went through a lot, watched the video, it's awful. So after all of that she went through, shortly after, she ends up unaliving herself. I can't actually say the term because YouTube is a big pain in the butt sometimes.
After the shoot, I stayed in the room to help the girls pack up their stuff. And at one point, one of them began crying, pulling at her hair and picking at her skin and nails. I thought she was maybe in pain, so I asked if she was okay, and she said that she was just very stressed. I walked the girls to their taxi and never saw them again after that, until I heard that the girl who had been crying unfortunately took her own life a few months later.
That absolutely had nothing to do with Eugenia, and considering how Belle is completely against, and most of these people who bring up the fetish shit is against, who is in Anna and who's active in their disorder, participating in anything to do with this fetish stuff, for the most part, Herbs is not at all endorsing anything like that. In fact, Herb, it repeats the point that it's your body, you should be allowed to do whatever you want with it.
And the reason I want to make this video and just give you these girls' stories is that, as I said in the previous video, when I was severely anorexic, I was a big sharer of my photos online. It was the only thing I had to be proud of in the world was my emaciation. And if I had have been approached by a photographer who wanted to pay me to take pictures of my emaciation, it's quite possible that I would have said yes. And I do believe in the freedom of girls to do what they want to do with their body. If you want to model nude, then you should be able to do that, even if you're anorexic. However, you do need to be aware of what you are getting into. And it is so clear, so horribly, horribly clear from the stories that I've been told that a lot of these girls did not know what they were getting into, and the effect it had on them afterwards were pretty horrible.
The only reason why he made those videos was as a heads up to kind of alert people who would be going into that situation about what kind of shit they're going to be getting themselves into. Kind of advising against it for their mental well-being, and not because of some moral outrage. Which is kind of what Belle is doing. And this is kind of fucked, really. Belle is, and everybody else who mentions this, I don't know why I keep on saying that, but, I mean, I know why, because that's the thing, but I don't have to keep on reiterating it. So, these people, they seem to think that it's awful, gross, weird that allegedly Eugenia is doing this, even though no evidence to show that she is. But even if she was, So people fetishize Eugenia, it's Eugenia's fault and not the fetish's fault. Which, it is the fetish's fault. If they want to be super weird, if their whole thing is to torture women, that's their hang up. It's not Eugenia's fault for having an ED. Why is the person being fetishized at fault for what the fetishes are fetishizing them for? Especially if it's something that really can't be changed, like a disorder or even race, because that actually is a thing. So are those people at fault? Is the girl who unalived herself at fault for what happened to her because she participated in this fetish shit? Of course not. You have to be absolutely out of your mind to think that. And the thing is, like, a lot of these people who have this kind of ana-fetish are really into the idea of torturing girls who are the target of this kind of weirdness. It's not their fault, it's the fetish's fault. I feel like I need to reiterate that. It's kind of messed up that people who talk about this sort of thing always put all the onus on Eugenia and none of it on the fetishes. Except for Herbs, who everybody always misrepresents with all of his stuff, actually. We'll get to it. I'm also going to probably steer your attention to a video called The Thing About Modesty that is posted by Believe It or Not. They kind of go into, like, the concept that does kind of go along with this. So, moving on. Next bit is the thing with Eugenia. Everybody's really obsessed with her crotch for some reason. Oh my god, I hate all of you. One of them is the shoehole one, where her underwear was on screen for a little bit, and everybody was saying how intentional it was, including Repzilla. Okay, so the big thing that I was gonna do, but Willie Mack already freaking did it, was the whole she matched her eyeshadow. Her hair was like a pink, and her, I can't believe I know this off the top of my head because I've heard this conversation so many goddamn times, but her underwear's pink, her outfit is red, her eyeshadow is red. It's not pink. I don't know if everybody who thinks her eyeshadow is pink's colorblind or something, but as soon as I, like, looked at the screen and saw her eyeshadow, I'm like, that's red. Are you people not? Okay, also the claim that she should have saw it.
Also want to note, there were like 15 panty flashes in the video. It wasn't a live stream. It was edited.
I can't believe that you counted. Oh boy. Okay. The area where the underwear showed up is a very small portion of the screen. Like, either Eugenia or the person who's editing is not going to be really honed in on her crotch like all of the people who seem to be watching her is Belle. That is easily missed. I have made mistakes in videos that I've edited myself, and I've looked over multiple times before uploading to YouTube, but then when I watch it on YouTube, I noticed the mistake that I never noticed before. It hurts me every time, but so that's understandable. Another thing was
This specific live stream, how she goes about approaching it, where she's very conscious that she could accidentally show her underwear, very worried about showing her underwear. So it shows me that she understands completely that well, most of us do. If you put your legs straight up in the air, then you're going to show underwear. But I wanted to show you this to let you guys know that she knows whether she's doing this or not.
Can you see them up close from the front? Well, I don't know about that, because I just don't want to accidentally, like, expose myself or anything. I mean, I can show you them to you like that. It's just that I lift them up, I could see that going really wrong. So that's
one, she's on Twitch. You cannot show any underwear on Twitch. Well, I'm pretty sure there's people who show underwear holes on YouTube, but Twitch has a very strict policy when it comes to stuff like that, so that makes sense why she's very more careful on Twitch than she is on YouTube. And probably why she's so blasé about it now is because, well, it's already out there. There's nothing she can do about it. The internet is forever.
own up to our actions like the adults we are. Little clavicle, I think I have owned up to it. It's like, yeah, I wore underwear in a video. It happened to end up showing. I don't see it as big of a deal as some people are making it into, to be honest. Nothing private showed. That's my action, you know?
Everybody saw it. Even if she takes it down, they already have like the screenshots, they already have the whole video downloaded. There is nothing she can do now. And if she makes a big fuss about it, well, we know exactly what the internet's gonna do. It's going to like be a dick. And she's been on the internet long enough that she knows exactly what's gonna happen. So the blasé attitude makes perfect sense to me. I don't understand why everything that she does means she's a horrible, evil person. Like, I'm not saying she's a saint or anything. Nobody is. I'm aware that she's a whole ass person who's infallible. I'm not like. But when it comes to stuff like this, you need more evidence. So there's another incident with her crotch. Of course there is. Oh my god, I hate myself and everybody else. With a bathing suit. That was. It's an ugly one. I don't like it. I don't know. That's not even proper criticism. That's just personal opinion, and I'm very much aware of it. And that should not be used to condemn her. They said that you can see her parts or whatever exposed, but
Now let's talk about her swimsuit. Well, you can see kind of from the thumbnail that the downstairs region looks kind of exposed.
so it kind of looks like it is if you're basing it off the thumbnail, but if you do a little bit of extra looking at it, like, going to the actual video and watching it, you would see that, no, she's not exposed at all. It's just the weird color correct, I guess. Somebody did on the thumbnail. That one was just pulled right out of your butt. Like, I know he apologized and all, but I don't know. Going forward, Repzilla should really, really be more careful when it comes to anything, because this was a whole disaster that I don't even know why he even thought it was okay to do. But moving right along. So I wasn't sure exactly where to go with the next one. Mostly because, the fetish one is kind of dark, but it's a little grim. But all the evidence is very simple and very stupid. So this one is also pretty simple and pretty stupid, but it's a little more complicated than that. Eugenia's parents. I don't think we ever seen her father on screen, but we have seen her mother, and people say that they're responsible for this, and maybe. I don't know anything about her medical information. I'm not a doctor. I'm not her therapist. I'm not a therapist. I don't claim to know these things. But if you're going to claim abuse, if you are a third party and you are saying that somebody is being abused, I better see, like, something more substantial than what these people bring to the table, which is nothing. They have brought nothing. Like, every time Eugenia's mom's brought up, she acts weird on camera, and that means she's abusive. That makes no sense. I'm not even going to entertain that. Stupid, dumb, whatever. There's this one video. It's a video with Eugenia and her mom, and they're doing a thing where they act like each other for the video as like a joke. They're doing a bit. So in the bit, people take like the thing like Eugenia says, like, "Oh, you what are you gonna do without me?" And Eugenia's mom doing a thing where she makes her voice super high pitched. And
in Switching Lives with My Mom, her mom portrays Eugenia as a child, talking like a 3-year-old. Eugenia, playing the role of her mother, comments about her mother, currently playing the role of Eugenia, loses everything and is lost without her. It's subtle, but it says a lot.
so yeah, this is literally a bit from Bob's Burgers. You guys remember that episode where Linda and Louise go to like a mom and daughter thing and they pretend to be each other for a second and they do a bit? This is this bit. I don't understand how this proves abuse. If Eugenia thought this was hurtful, why would she put it on her channel? I think a lot of the problem with this sort of thing is that a lot of people kind of like, in some ways, infantilize Eugenia. She doesn't know any better when it comes to her mom, but she's like a full-ass adult. Like, what is she, 27 now, I think? Like, after the whole incident where people were questioning her about the 5150 and her getting very upset, I think she has a limit, and if people push her limit, like, she's going to have, like, a normal reaction. She isn't going to be placid the whole time. So, that video does not prove anything. When it comes to the idea that Eugenia is being abused by specifically her mother, like, I probably pronounced that word wrong, because I always do. They point to the 2 videos that Jacqueline made shortly after Eugenia's return to the internet. We should go over that. The interesting thing that I just realized when watching back to this video is that who I think is Jacqueline's husband, I don't know his name, I don't care to learn it, says the line, anytime that the police show up, Eugenia has a script.
The police, and there's a lot of red tape on that, but when they would answer the door and they had a script and they would turn the police away, and this video with Shane is another example of a script and the police or Shane in this situation walking away feeling that that person is fine.
So I've heard this repeated multiple times throughout multiple videos, and you can probably look back before Willie Mack's video came out and see people repeat this she has a script thing over and over again. And the funny thing is, I don't think he meant like a literal script. I think he meant like, you know how if you're like anxious around other people, you kind of like have like an idea of like what you're gonna say depending on like what they say. Like if they say this, you're gonna say that. And you kind of plan it out in your head. I think that's what he means. But everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people took it kind of literal. And something that's kind of important that kind of happened with most of these 2 videos that we're going to be looking at, they say something, but through the game Broken Telephone, a lot of people repeat it, but makes it sound more substantial than it actually was in the video. And speaking of substantial, Jacqueline and the other 2 claim they're in the video, so they're signing off on it. So their claim of Eugenia's mother being abusive, they claim it a lot in the video, and we're gonna get to the 5150 in the next part. Don't you worry, but we're just gonna focus on the abuse claims here. So their abuse claims are very, very vague. They say that Eugenia's mother is controlling and abusive, but they give no example. Now, being people that we know, because we have photographs of Eugenia and them being together, we know that they were in their lives. Like, I take the dude who's, like, spend time with them's word at that, because we know he was there, right? So, I'm willing to take Jacqueline's word if she was able to give me any examples of like a time where she's actually been face to face with Eugenia's mother and she saw something that was like either a sign of abuse or either straight up abuse. Either one. But here's the thing. According to Eugenia, Jacqueline has only met her mother, Eugenia's mother, once. Briefly.
And that's something that I always feel bad about, is like people being mean to my mom and stuff especially. So, I mean, yeah, I still don't really understand why a lot of that, like, was said and all that, you know. Especially when, like, my mom and her met, like, one time, like, very briefly.
Which is strange, because Jacqueline claimed that, well, made claims, or seemed to make claims. A lot of, it's vague, like I said, but she seemed to make claims of Eugenia's mom saying that Eugenia is going to be pulled out of treatment if she talks.
Stayed very silent for a long time for fear of her not getting treatment. It was communicated to me that if I ever talked about what actually happened, that there was a chance that as a result she'd be pulled out of treatment. So I never said anything because I was terrified.
And also that Eugenia's mother called her a bitch over the phone.
On the phone with her mom, who was screaming at me, by the way. She verbatim called me a fucking bitch for doing what I was doing.
But here's the thing with both of those. Eugenia's mother does not have a direct contact with Jaclyn Hill. Jaclyn Hill and Eugenia's mother are not communicating through like either text, email, phone like they don't have each other's phone numbers or any direct line.
Is it true that your mom was cursing at Jaclyn? No hate, just curious. Gamer boy, so like I said, it was a really shocking situation. Like, my mom literally thought I was gonna be like home in a couple of hours. So, did she call her the B word? Yeah, she did, on the phone. But there's a lot of stuff that isn't true. There was another person that involved themselves that has nothing to do with this, that was not there, that claims that that person showed them voicemails. My mom doesn't have her number. She didn't say any of the other stuff that was mentioned. That was, I don't know, like, I'd love to hear those voicemails.
What's your ideal?
And according to Jaclyn now, because I believe it was in a later video that she kind of like explained on how this communication is working. The communication she claims is happening is through a lawyer that she's talking with, that's also talking with Eugenia's mother, who was in the video, in Shane's video.
I had conversations on the phone with Katie. I had emails back and forth with her. So to be honest, her involvement with Shane's video is a little confusing to me because she knows the darkest details of that home. She was actually connected to me through the lawyer that you see in Shane's video over a year ago. I reached out to her over a year ago with my initial email saying I'm worried about a friend. And I had her connection through the lawyer, who was also my lawyer, who actually, throughout this entire process, has been the voice of Eugenia's mother in communication with me. You better be damn sure she did not want people to know about this intervention because of how negligent it makes her look.
Communicating through a lawyer sounds like you would have documentation of said communication. I don't understand. If Jaclyn, she's made so many videos of claiming that, and all those videos, she claims that her mother Eugenia's mother is so abusive that Eugenia needs to leave that house. There's something seriously wrong. If she has direct communication of Eugenia's mother claiming that if Jaclyn talks about, like, her being in treatment, Eugenia's gonna be pulled from treatment. Because if you're doing it through a lawyer, there should be documentation of such a thing. Why have we not seen it? Why haven't there even been mention of there being documentation? I'm a little suspicious on this. I mean, people expect, like, Eugenia to be transparent with, like, a lot of, like, her personal medical history. I don't know, this particular thing seems like something you need to have proof for. Like, if you're claiming something this big, the burden of proof is on you. I don't know why I have to explain this. Her claim, Eugenia's mother's abuse, is mostly unsubstantiated. Actually, completely unsubstantiated, because the only, like, example, like, first-hand example that anybody in the situation gives is during the 5150 situation, and Eugenia's blindsided, she calls her mother, and Eugenia is probably kind of upset on the phone with her mom, and Eugenia does explain that she was scared when she was calling her mom.
It helped.
Because Kiwi Charisma, no, I never have, because it was pretty self-explanatory. I called my mom, like, very scared. I was expecting to be home in a couple of hours. My mom was expecting me to be home in a couple of hours. My mom was scared for me. My mom didn't look at it as, oh, this person's trying to help her, you know? Like, my mom looked at it as, oh no, like, my daughter is basically now, like, you know, in a bad situation, and, like, I don't know where my daughter's going. I don't know what's going on. You know, it was just really scary. And I called her. I was scared myself. So, I mean, to me, it was, like, understandable in that circumstance.
It makes sense for then her mom to be upset with whoever is upsetting her daughter. The logic here tracks. Also, like, she doesn't, like, her mother doesn't know these people. Like Eugenia said, Jaclyn's only met her mother once, briefly. So, Eugenia's mother doesn't know these people, and to play devil's advocate here, at some point during the conversation with her daughter, when this is going down, she might be thinking, what if these people are lying to her and the people who are coming to take her aren't police? Like, Eugenia's mom's not freaking there. She doesn't see any of things that's happening. Her daughter's freaking out. She doesn't actually, 100% know what's going on, so that's probably why she called the police. Because she doesn't know these people. Her daughter's freaking out. She's probably thinking of the worst thing possible. Because that's kind of what parents do. Logic checks out with me. I don't know about you. But, of course, yeah, it was a 5150. We know that it actually was police. So, it's not like Jacqueline got arrested, so chill. Not proof of actual abuse. Is that it? So yeah, that's all her claims, really. Holy shit, I just thought there would be more, but I can't remember anything else. Whatever, speaking of abuse, it is weird that in the beginning of Jacqueline's video where she's explaining that how whenever somebody makes a video about Eugenia and it kind of negatively affects her where she doesn't want to leave her house, and then Jacqueline really backed Belle Aubrey, who kind of makes videos pretty similar to Onion Man. I'm not the first person who made that observation. I mean, it's got the same vibes. So I don't know why now she's backing Belle, given what she's told us. So it's kind of fucked. Speaking of fucked,